Hello and welcome to the first ever episode of KV Leadership Matters. My first guest today is my friend Ramy Abouseif. Hello, Ramy.
Hey, Mena, thanks for having me on KB Leadership Matters. Looking forward to this first episode and joining you in this conversation.
So I'll confess that this whole thing was actually Ramy's idea that I'm just shamelessly stealing. So let me at least share the slide here with his welcome and his invitation to join us here as being, something that we're making very, very official, and something that we hope will entice other people to join us so that they can have their names up in lights like this with the Koinonia Ventures logo. So, Ramy, what enticed you to join KV as a member of our leadership team?
So I had heard about KV a few years ago, and I didn't know much about it. But as I learned more from Abuna and others who are members, including yourself and Danny, I was really drawn to the mission. I really liked the idea of uh, microfinancing, and hopefully we can talk about that a little bit more as we go through, and providing these individuals in these underserved communities with an opportunity, not just of a charitable contribution, but to really kind of lift themselves up out of poverty by their own, boots. And just that kind of really resonated with me as something that I wanted to get more involved with, given maybe my own personal background in business and having a finance degree. And with all of that, like I was very fortunate to get closer to you, get closer to Danny, get closer to Buna, and become a part of the team where, I feel like this is one of the best parts of my day is working on different Koinonia Ventures initiatives.
So I'll click through here to the next slide so that people can see what our values are as an organization. And our tagline and our motto has always been empowering opportunity through fellowship. And from that first video that Abuna, Girgis, and myself and Mike Gabor, who's instrumental in also leading and establishing this organization along with Abuna and Danny and myself. Um, I think that in that first video that we made, this was a central part of it, that empowering opportunity through fellowship is not just about the business partner, but also the person that is serving that business partner, whether it's you or I or anyone else involved in the leadership, or if it's somebody that's donating money so that they can support the organization. So I'll leave this up here, but we want to hear a little bit more about you. You said you have a finance background. Tell us not just what's on your website, which is also super cool, but actually what it is that your background is and what it is that you do.
Yeah, sure. So, as an undergrad, I was a finance and investments major at Baruch College, and then I started my career. I've been working for one of the big four consulting firms, doing more financial services and risk management type of advisory work. And then from there, I pursued my MBA at NYU, and I think that background and this type of mission, with the lens of altruism, is something that I felt was missing in maybe my current role, or just the kind of environment that I work in. Not to say that it's not all great people and it's not great work that we do, but there's always a part where you want to give back, right? You're blessed and or you feel blessed and you feel like you have all these opportunities that other people may not have, and that you want to see how you can help provide them with those opportunities. And I think that's really again what drew me so like strongly towards this mission. Other than that background, a little bit more about me, and I think Mena will say it if I don't say it. I started fencing. I'm not very good, so I'm very much an amateur fencer. I just had my first child, and we're very excited about that. If he ever watches this video, I'm sure he'll cringe with embarrassment, as any child would. And I have a beautiful wife, and very happy with all these things.
I do appreciate that you mentioned the fencing, because I do want people to Google your name and find your work website and be just as entertained as I was that that like is a thing
Uh,
that's mentioned. I was like, oh, well, you know, that's important for me to know if I'm going to hire you as my financial consultant and risk manager.
they might
Um,
after this. They're just gonna.
so I think one of the things that you mentioned in terms of what drew you to KV and in terms of what is part of your work, but you wanted to apply it um, to a nonprofit, is the fourth value here, which is striking a balance between philanthropy and fiscal responsibility. So I'm going to highlight that, and I'm going to bring us back here for you and I have to have a little bit of a discussion about that. And I think that that is the heart of what makes Koinonia Ventures Koinonia, which means fellowship in Greek, and it's an ancient Christian uh, uh, core part of being Christian, and it's the fellowship and the unity between all people, and how God unites us through the Holy Spirit. So that's the Koinonia part. And then there's ventures, which is the, you know, sort of, okay, like what projects should we be funding because they are going to be successful, and we're not just giving people money just, you know, for the sake of charity, for the sake of Koinonia, and then, you know, I lost the money, or oh yeah, I did, but you know, it wasn't really successful. So that balance between the the charity side of things, the Koinonia, and that business side of things, the ventures, I think is kind of what you were alluding to. And over the last year, you know, you've had the opportunity to see how these decisions are made. You've had the opportunity, you know, firsthand to see what the process is and the model by which we evaluate, um, ask people to reconsider their business plans if they're not so great, how we approve projects, how we support projects. So maybe you can give us a little bit of an overview of what your impression was of that process, and you know, a little bit about how we do that.
Yeah, I thought, and I think the best way to describe it is with an analogy to Shark Tank, right? I think many people who may watch this and may be familiar with Shark Tank, and it's very much not a Shark Tank though, or like a minnow tank. We're much, I think, you know, we recognize the environment that we're working in and the people that we're working with, but it is a great model in that um, you get to work with these different business applicants, and I think the structure of the way the business application has been has evolved is really well detailed, well thought out. It doesn't just consider that they're this person in this neighborhood, but more what's their background, you know, what's their educational background, um, what's their current financial situation, what kind of skills do they have, and we take all of that, and it's great that we have so many different advisors in the field, and that also, you know, advances our model to then also build on their idea. So maybe their idea isn't great at the onset, but what we do and what I like that we do is that we coach them to improve to improve upon that idea rather than just maybe rejecting them right away, right? We give them that additional opportunity, right? We work with them, we continue to guide them, and that's, you know, that gives them the access to the credit that they need. And then throughout that, we also provide mentoring after the fact, which I think is incredibly important to help them succeed in the long run, right? We want sustainability. We don't want just a one and done, here's a loan, pay us back, or even though it's interest free, but we want sustainability. We want to really make a difference in their lives, and have them make a difference in their lives, in their community as well. And then, you know, beyond that, I think the model, and I know we're working on building this out even more, is that model of having the entrepreneurs engage with one another and create, you know, a community and a network, you know, building on the term Koinonia, right? So we just discussed the venture part, and then it all comes back full circle to the fellowship part and making sure that they work with each other, collaborate, and really grow as a community. And I think that's where that's what makes this such a great organization and makes this model so important to me, is the sustainability of it as well.
I agree, and I will bring us back to the slideshow here, and highlight another one of our core values, which is establishing self-sustainable communities. And that's something that we came up with back in 2018, right when we were first building the organization, and we spent hours and hours and hours discussing, and what is it that we're trying to accomplish, and these are the values that we always go back to when we're trying to make a decision. And these are the values that in 2023 we're finally establishing some pretty discrete KPIs that we can start tracking. And I don't think that that's something that we ever really knew exactly what we meant by it, but we just knew that in alignment with this idea that, okay, it's not just about my charity and I'm going to give you something and you're going to say thank you, but we're going to open up an opportunity for you to sustain yourself and your family. Then why not be able to broaden that and go on a macro scale to be able to establish self-sustainable communities? And with
Yeah.
these new KPIs, this metric on people's quality of life, not just in terms of whether they're paying back the loans, which is an important thing, but whether their lives are actually improving. Are their kids' education improving? Is their ability to care for their homes better?
Yeah.
These sort of self-sustainable things, at least in the family level and maybe eventually at the community level, is going to be something that we'll be able to measure and track.
Yep.
I do think that this was something that was front and center in the book on the right here by Muhammad Yunus, who is the originator of microlending. This is a book that several of us that started the organization back in 2017 and 2018 had read together and said, okay, like what did they do to make this work? And that community aspect was huge. The connection of these people to each other was just as important as their connection to the organization. Their ability to take money was sort of universal, but their ability to invest that money and make it into something that translated into a business was not so universal. And that metric of how connected can we make them to each other was something that was front and center. You introduced me when we were prepping for this to the blue sweater on the left, which I haven't read, but maybe you can share with us if there was a community aspect in that as well.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So the Blue Sweater by Jacqueline Novogratz. So she started the Acumen Fund, which again very much focuses on micro financing, micro lending, and essentially the driver behind it was the communities that she was working with in sub-Saharan Africa were very much community very much community driven, and very much driven by um, women or other minorities in those communities who wanted to be able to provide for themselves and for their families. And the focus of the book, and it's a term that I think Jacqueline coined, is patient capital. So essentially, understanding that success doesn't happen overnight, and if you give folks in underserved communities an opportunity, they really can, create value for themselves and for their community overall. And it's absolutely like evident in so much of the success stories that you'll hear that they want to pay these loans back. They want to take ownership of their lives, of their business, and they want to support each other. And a lot of the I remember one example in particular it was a market where they would help each other pay their loans, right? If someone was doing a little bit better, rather than having one person default on their loan, they would essentially funnel that money around to help one another to continue that momentum that they were building. And it was such a powerful message that I just had to share it.
Yeah, no, I think that that's great, and I think that one of the things that we want to do when we do these KV Leadership Matters is to introduce people to things that they can read and enrich themselves. And if you've gotten this far along in this little video recording that Ramy and I are doing, then maybe you're interested enough not just to donate to KV, which we hope that you'll do, but also read some of these books. And the future guests and the future readings will also hopefully be interesting to you just as much as they've been interesting to us in preparing them. I will, of course, introduce our website, koinoniaventures.org. Don't forget the dash. And there you can meet the Hall of Fame, the business partners, all of these people that our donors have been able to make an impact on, and they in turn have been able to make an impact on us in terms of our appreciation of the work that's done. So hopefully we'll have many more of these. And like I said, we call them KV Leadership Matters because at least me personally, I love a double meaning. Uh, so in talking about these matters that relate to leadership, we are hopefully able to demonstrate that leadership matters, and our ability to study things, our ability to evaluate how other people have done these things in the past, evaluate what works, what doesn't work, learning as we go. Those are things that are leadership skills that apply to any industry and will hopefully help us to do a better job, not just in running a nonprofit, but in our work, in our families, and our other service. So I don't know if there's something else that you wanted to say, Ramy, about that.
No, I mean, I think that the double meaning is perfect, and I do, hope that through these conversations that we learn more about these different organizations, our organization, and the folks that are helping us to achieve our mission. Because I think we'll learn valuable lessons from one another. And again, building on that community aspect, it's not just in the communities we serve, but rather our communities as well, and how we can lift each other up. I would also just like to shamelessly plug our Instagram page as well. So it's Koinonia_Ventures. Please, like, share, follow. We post a lot of stories about our business partners of the month. We post updates on a monthly basis on how we're doing in the field, the funding we've provided. And we also like to just kind of engage with our communities that way and interact with you in that aspect as well. So, if you have a chance, just, Koinonia_Ventures.
Yeah, and I think hopefully we can branch out to Facebook and LinkedIn, and this is going to be something that we're hopefully launching and continuing on from Giving Tuesday. We had talked about using KV Leadership Matters as a leading up to Giving Tuesday, and I think it makes more sense that Giving Tuesday has become the launch for Leadership Matters. So if you saw this on social media, please share it. If you didn't see this on social media, please find it on social media and then share it. And hopefully this will be something that we continue to benefit from. And if you, what do they say, like, subscribe, and share, it's something that you'll be able to connect with us and give us your feedback on, so we can continue to bring more value-added content for you and potentially other people that are excited about what KV is doing for these business partners.
Yeah, absolutely. And just like Mena said, if you have any thoughts or ideas, please message us directly on our Instagram page. If you know us personally, please reach out. Let us know what you'd like to hear about, or if you'd like to join us on one of these episodes, and we'd be happy to host you.
All right, Ramy. Well, I think keeping that first one short and sweet will help to draw people in to like, subscribe, and share, so that when I get someone else in here that gets me going, or I get them going, and we end up with a 30-minute podcast, people will be like, no, it's good. I'm gonna power through it. So I'm glad this one was kept
Put
on the
on
lighter side.
1.5x. Just put on 1.5x and just get through it. It's okay.
and the more value it is, the more likely it is that we're going to do it. So we're definitely committed to that. But anyway, thank you so much, Ramy, for joining me today.
My pleasure.
We'll look forward to more of these in the future.
Yeah, look forward to it. Take care.